Thank you for joining me. I'm going to be reading the Earth class notes written by the 12th Apostle entitled Retribution. This word retribution is not in the King James Version of the Bible, but the concept of its principal definition is. Even through the basic law of cause and effect in which all things function, responsibility is a major part of retribution that can increase to the point of no possible payback, which is what the fall of the first man, Adam, produced. The temporary mortal body placed over the spirit body of Adam and all animals on altered earth was a result of God's grace and love, and not an act of retribution. Remember the first two sons of Adam and Eve, Cain and Abel, and how Eve had told Cain that he was the firstborn son of God and that his works from the fruit of the ground was sufficient. But Abel brought his firstborn animal to God as a sacrificial retribution for his fallen state of sin that God accepted, but explained to Cain the difference between an attitude of retribution and rebellion that Cain didn't like or accept. Whereupon, when Cain and Abel were alone in the field, Cain murdered Abel in a jealous rage. Abel had been talking with Cain about the wrong relationship Cain was having with the black daughter of Adam and Eve's servants who had been turned black and gone to the very low land of Nod, east of Eden. When God confronted Cain about murdering Abel, it is written, Cain said unto the Lord, My punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face I shall be hid, and I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth, and it shall come to pass that every one that findeth me shall slay me. And the Lord said unto him, Therefore, whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And the Lord set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him. And Cain went out from the presence of the Lord and dwelt in the land of Nod, on the east of Eden. Genesis 4:13-16. The mark that God placed upon Cain was that he was turned black as a visible retribution for his attitude and actions, also where he would be accepted by the refugee black servants hiding there. Remember that people lived several hundred years before the world flood of Noah's time, and it had not rained, as water was and still is a type of basic retribution judgment. At this time, I will give you more basic truth about the difference between the spirit body and the temporal mortal body of people and animals. The spirit and mortal bodies both began at the conception of each individual, with the spirit body forming, developing, and growing like the mortal body, but in a perfect, progressive, indestructible, everlasting way, reaching full physical maturity, regardless if the mortal body died before maturity or even moments after conception, not having to eat, drink, breathe, produce body waste, or even feel pain, with its soul abilities, personality, and physical gender. The reason Cain could not change his retribution mark of his mortal body is because he had murdered his brother Abel's mortal body, and he could not ask his brother's forgiveness first and then offer his retribution gift, offering of an innocent animal's life, as Jesus taught so well. It is written, Therefore, if thou bring thy gift to the altar, and there remember that thy brother hath offense against thee, leave there thy gift before the altar, and go thy way. First be reconciled to thy brother, and then come and offer thy gift. Matthew 5:23-24. The gift taken to the altar was a type of temporal retribution for others to see, with the remembrance of any personal offense made to anyone be taken care of through love and retribution to the offended one. That would clear the way for God to accept a temporal retribution taken to the altar. Before Jesus made full retribution for all souls, once forever in his crucifixion, that was proven in his resurrection, ascension into the third heaven, and seated at the right hand of God, where he is today, in the fast movement of mortal time on altered earth, that is the only place, interestingly enough, in the expanding universe where mortality and mortal time exist. Now, we have no need for an altar or a retribution gift taken to an altar, for we are a living temple. It is written, "And what agreement hath the temple of God with idols? For ye are the temple of the living God. As God hath said, I will dwell in them and walk with them, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people." 2 Corinthians 6:16. Paul was trying to help the pardoned souls the best way he knew how to do so, as he was the best pardoned soul on earth. It was available to God to write these letters to various groups of people in different areas called churches. When others base their beliefs upon their agreement or disagreement, that subjective position can cause more harm than help to them. Consider the few who stay the course and increase their knowledge, their understanding, and their belief of everything that is good and right. All of these classes are freely given and written where any responsible soul can understand. Most who have heard or read about these classes don't believe because they don't want to. And they ask themselves, why should these truths be told from that old man in Mississippi and not to them? For what good can come out of Mississippi? Remind you of what John wrote in his gospel record. "And Nathanael said unto him, Can there any good thing come out of Nazareth? Philip saith unto him, Come and see." John 1:46. Thank you so much for your time. Until next time.